Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. So excited to be back here to chat with all of you today. And let me tell you, tonight's show is going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. So invite a friend, get your coffee cup, share, comment, ask questions, engage, all of that good stuff. So I have the honor and the privilege tonight of talking with someone who is absolutely amazing. When I say amazing, I mean absolutely amazing. So before I bring her out, I want to say welcome to those of you who may be visiting me from someone else's page, or you just happen to stumble across my live. Let me tell you who I am. I am Bridgett Battles, author of Beauty in Her Battle and executive presence strategist. And I teach you how to uplevel your personal and your professional brand. In other words, I teach you how to make your presence speak so much that it translates into money in your bank account. Now, who can't use that? Listen, we all want a decent bank account, and we want to live the life that we love, and we want to live the life that we crave. So tonight's show is going to be all about empowering you, giving you strategies, tools, tips, so much more. So at this time, help me. So right now I'm speaking in the atmosphere because I'm actually going to have my own studio one day. And then I'm going to have a real live studio audience. So y'all my studio audience until we get there. So help me welcome at this time my guest for tonight, Nikki Smith Bagby. Hey, Nikki.
Hey, Boo.
How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm blessed. I can't complain. You know,
you came on through with the glasses, sis. Come on, lean into the camera so the people can see your sparkles. Let the people see your sparkles.
I can't come on here in this environment and not be as, or if not level up to your level. So I can't.
Listen, please, you got this. You got this. So I'm so happy to have you here tonight and for us to have some good conversation.
Yes.
And a couple of things that I really want to make sure that we cover tonight. Number one, I want to talk a little bit about the work that you do in the community and so much of an impact that you make in the community. I want to talk about that. And I definitely want to talk about your business. And I want to talk a little bit about, so my last episode 2 weeks ago, we talked about self-care for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Taking care of yourself.
Yes.
You know, I want to hear what you do to take care of yourself. So before we dive into all of that conversation, first thing, my most important conversation, okay, my most important question. You ready?
Yes.
Tell my audience who you are and what makes you so awesome.
Oh, man. My name is
Nikki. Come on. Don't
oh, my God.
My CEOs
no, wait a minute. Now, you're surprised. Better than we're going to start off like this. Well, my name is Nikki Bagby. And I think being able to serve people effectively makes me awesome, right? It's important for me to make sure whatever I do, business, life, or whatever, my return on investment are those who I serve. So if I had to think about something like that, I think that I'm a person who wants to make sure I'm serving people in a way that I would want to be served. And when I say that, that's any facet of life. That's any facet of life. So whether it's my business partners or people I serve, whether it's my family. So yeah, I guess that makes me a little bit awesome. I don't know.
It does. It does. So, let's talk about serving. So
yes,
Nikki and I met through a mutual friend. Yes. And I actually texted him tonight. Yeah. Our mutual friend, Solomon Kim. Solomon, thank you. Thank you, Solomon. Especially if you're watching the replay, thank you for connecting with me. I'm Nikki. We first met. Solomon took us to lunch at Hans Dynasty. You remember?
Yes, he did, child. It was a wrap after that.
So one of the things that Solomon always told me about you, Nikki, was that your love for the community and the work that you do. And your level of commitment in the community. And I've had a chance to really, kind of review some of the things that you've done, some of the things that you are doing. So I want to talk a little bit about how you got started in that space and why you are in that space.
Wow.
And so I think that, because I'm not from Philly, like born and raised, even though I'm a transplant here. Yeah. So I'm not familiar to the extent that you are. So if I get a certain area wrong, just know I'm getting there, okay?
I won't charge it to your history. I know
that you do some work in Nicetown that I do now. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why you got into this work and this community impact.
Oh, God. I guess it started growing up watching my mother struggle, being very humbly poor, and watching my mother, who my father and my mother were Panthers, right? So I got it honestly, Black Panthers. And from a young age, even though there was a lot that we needed, there was a love for serving people, looking at my mother, not having a whole lot, wanting to take what I had, even though it was a little bit, and to share it. Right. So that translated into everything that I ever did. I remember being a teenager helping. I remember helping my family, helping my mama when I was working, pay bills. So that part of me really stuck with me. And the older I got, God really put it in my heart to be really deep. Like I did not feel comfortable unless I was doing something to help someone else besides myself. So it is just that need of wanting to help others and coming from that space, right? Coming from a space where I know how hard it was. And no matter how hard it was, my mother's always said there's someone worse off than you. So that's where I got that love and drive for wanting to do more. And it just spilled over into my life. I was a very young mom. Me and my husband have been together since we were 17, and we're both 45. Well, I'm 45, he 49. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, girl.
So us being very young parents and really struggling, and watching the same folks around us struggle, it just kind of spilled over into being a young mom. It spilled over in being a mom with kids who are at school with other kids who had an issue. So I just believe that God has put it in my heart. That's who He made me to be, is someone who wants to serve. And unless I am serving others, I don't feel that what I've done in life is meaningful.
And let's stop right there. Hey, Erica. I got both my Ericas on here. Erica and Bonita. Hey, girl. So let's stop right there. So you said that, and Erica McFadden is definitely a server. So Erica, I definitely want you to hear this. So you said that in your serving, you want to go deeper.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about what deeper means when it comes to actually serving.
Okay. So
because that's another level of commitment.
That's another level of commitment. Oh God. So when I say deeper, so Nicetown is some place that I grew up. I love Nicetown. The Lord had put it on my heart many years ago when I went to the school that I went to. Shout out to Edward T. Steele Elementary. Coming out of that school, there were a bunch of teachers who came out of that movement, right? That 60, 70 movement. So we were fortunate to have teachers that were teaching us about Gwendolyn Brooks before fifth grade, Gwendolyn Brooks and Langston Hughes, and our hallways was full of paintings, and I learned how to write calligraphy. So there was a bunch of teachers that poured, Black teachers. And at that time, you didn't see too many Black teachers, but we were fortunate to have some. So shout out to all the teachers who I still know now. They just poured a lot of us to teach us who we are and to teach us pride, but also to teach us to give back. So I had a lot of culture around us. I had a lot of drive and watching a lot of the adults, that community. So as I became a young mother and I started kind of realizing, look beyond that teenager, that insight, I started seeing other mothers and other community people and people struggling and kids not having. So I just started, my husband would tell you, don't we got enough kids in this house? Because we have 6 children, 3 girls and 3 boys. Why are there a bunch of kids in my house on the floor? Because from that was that extension of community. Someone was always giving me clothes and coats, brand new stuff now. And it just went very deeper. So I said, you know what? I love doing this. I'm doing this on my block. Let me see, can I do it on the next block? Can I do it on the other side of the community? Can I do this downtown? So it grew into something that started really in my house and me wanting to serve my block and my seniors. And it poured out to other things in my life. And from that, I've traveled and I've been able to put on marches, and I'm celebrating my 19th year of having a holiday party at Still School, where we take over the school and serving about 3,000 people every year around the holiday season. So it has
grown. You serve, somebody put that in the comments. 3,000 people
around the holiday season. Yes.
So you serve around, this is your 19th year of holding a holiday party that serves 3,000 people.
Yes. And from that, now mind you, it's not just the school. So from that, it branched out to some of the boards that I was sitting on from some of the other organizations that I was sitting on. Shout out to Lucrece Arizari, who I was a board member to FIG, and she allowed me, she trusted me with putting some stuff on. I found not only we were doing it to school, we started finding 100 people that were extremely poor, going through things where we walk in houses and there are holes in the wall and you can see down the basement. And working with her, we were able to get refrigerators for Christmas and beds and Christmas trees and food. So it wasn't just some toy for a child. This spun out to
This is community impact. And I need people that are hearing this. This is community impact. This is how we take our communities and really start to see economic empowerment. Girl, because he's got to start this way. I need somebody to put in the comments, because I'm still stuck on this 3,000. Thank you. And somebody put in this in the comments 3,000.
Yes. Yep. So, on average.
On average, so it started in your house, and see that alone is something else.
Yes.
For it to start in your house.
Yes.
And you can apply that to every principle, whether it's spiritual, whether it's your professional life. It's got to start in your house before you can take it abroad.
Yes.
And so I noticed also, so then you tell me about the holiday party, but you also did the barbers.
So when you say it pours out,
haircuts to go back to school.
When you say it pours out, so I left and they know I love United Healthcare. It taught me a lot about the healthcare world. I learned so many things with them, and when I left, they threw a party for me, right? Mm-hmm. Thank goodness I'm still working with them and doing some contracting with them. That's why I'm out here now. But what happened was I found that everywhere I went, the vision and the dream that God gave me became infectious to others, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just that God gave me something, but it translated over to so many other people. So I found that other people, although I'm not on the board of directors with FIG anymore, at any given time, they throw the same parties, right? They've taught me a lot about things. I love Terry Matthews. Shout out to Terry Matthews. Mm-hmm. The Lord gave me a vision, because when I was having one of these holiday parties, there were 2 children that were autistic, and the parents and the kids were teasing them a little bit, so the parents would take them out. So it was really put on my heart, let's do a party with them separately. Mm-hmm. So I had a vision. I called Terry. She was like, girl, I don't even know why you asked me, because it's been on my heart too. Mm-hmm. So we were able to get a corporate partnership with Legoland.
Stop right there for 1 second. For anybody that's watching us, so I had Nikki to come on because not only did I want her to share her story, but Nikki, there are a lot of dreamers and visionaries that tune into the show. And even if they don't watch it live, they watch it on the replay. Yeah. And so I want people to know that when we give you information, when we share these stories, it's not because we've always had it together. No, it's because now we figured out a way to make it work. Yes. And so anybody that's watching us right now, I want you to grab a hold of everything that Nikki is saying. If you want to do work in your community, there is a way to make it work. Yes. If you believe in economic empowerment, if you believe in really trying to make a difference, especially given the climate that we're in right now, these are things you can do.
You can.
But it's got to start in the house.
It has. And let me tell you something. When I talked to, what's so wonderful about that is she trusted the vision, right? And I said, this vision that I have, she had already wanted to do it anyway. We just came together, and I'm a person that make it work. I went to her, I said, I'm going to call Legoland. She said, girl, go ahead. And out of that, now they gave us tickets for Florida that first year for families can go, because when we were finished, we sent a whole family. We got air flights, we got hotel stay.
And you did that through corporate sponsorships.
All through corporate sponsorship.
Benita Smith, I hope you hear all of this. Erica White, you hear all of this.
They gave us tickets. Shout out to Disneyland. They gave us tickets. Shout out to the hotel. Shout out to the money that we raised. So this family was able to go, but we selected families. So we do a whole lot, but I don't want to, because girl, I'll be here all day. But the fact that remains is when I went to her, I said, Terry, I don't know this population, but I know you do. So the vision was mine, but I know that you're going to be able to roll it out. And we partnered together. And guess what? It's called Celebration Beyond the Spectrum. And not only were we able to do it here, but we were also able to do it in Atlanta. We took it to Atlanta. So I'm telling you, when you are purposed to do something, and when God has called you to do something, if God ain't calling you, because he's still reigning and judge, he talks to everybody with all his children. But when God has put something in your heart to do, you can be the one that's your biggest enemy. Understand that you have to be consistent. You cannot give up. You can't listen to people. And here's my story. I got to say this one really quickly.
Go ahead.
I work for United Healthcare, but what a lot of people don't know is I came through a welfare to rope program.
Welfare to rope.
Welfare to work program.
Welfare to work. Okay, welfare.
I came in as a consumer. It was hard, and we were able to get Medicaid, where we were able to get insurance for our children. Someone heard about me and asked me to sit on their board of directors. So God rest Dr. Lomax. So I love him. I miss him so much. But I sat on the board of directors. They came to me and I said, you know what? I would love to work in healthcare. And they said, you know what? We're starting a program. I managed the Welfare to Work program, and I was there for a year. And I said, you know what? I have to move on. They were like, you can't go nowhere, because the work you've done in this Welfare to Work program, we need you to stay. And if you leave, they're going to get me. So they hired me. And for me being hired, I went from the Welfare to Work program to leaving as the manager and one of the manager directors for the state for Medicaid and CHIP for marketing.
Wow.
So when I tell you, when you're purposed to do something and when you have a drive to do it, you cannot give up. You can't listen to people, and you have to let your passion lead. And when you let your passion lead and your skills and realizing that you have value, don't let anybody devalue. There is nothing that you can't do. So I just needed to put that part in there. And part of that is also my community giving back, right? People see what you're doing in your circle, but they also see that there is something in you that they need. And when they need you, you stand flat-footed and say, I know, you know what, you do need me. Not cocky, but when there's something in you, never let anybody tell you you can't do something.
That's good. That's good. Eric Holmes put this in the comment. I think it's so important. He said, favor will change the rules. How about that?
And it ain't fair.
Favor will change the rules.
It's hey, Dr.
Patterson, thank you for joining us. So that is so good. Like you said so much, you know, and I hope everybody that's watching us, you know, tonight, I want tonight's conversation to infuse you. I want tonight's conversation to charge you. I want you to feel something magnetic about you and your own dream, about you and your own vision. I want you to feel that tonight through tonight's conversation. And so even when you talked about purpose, you were in alignment.
Yes.
You have to be in alignment with your purpose. You can't just do a bunch of random things and expect it to actually get movement and traction to make the impact. And I think a lot of times people get so caught up in the outcome that they are not in alignment and they forget about the process. Because if you don't have a process, you cannot measure if what you're doing is successful.
Yes. And
it doesn't work that way. And I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, as creatives, we get so caught up in the output. You got to understand that if the process is not complete, you build fast wrong. And when you build fast wrong, not only can you not sustain it, but you also give birth to chaos.
And so part of what I've learned, so two things I wanted to follow up on. I remember Pastor Miles Monroe saying, and it was I remember it resonating in my soul. A lot of people will go through life and say, you know what, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm meant to do. What is this? He said something that really stuck with me. He said, when you know that this is how you know you're meant to do something. When no matter what you do in life, you find yourself at that place again, and that thing makes you happy. That thing makes you feel fulfilled, and it drives you when you're not doing it to get it done. Right. So that's
right there. When it drives you, even when you're not doing it, that means if something drives you, Nikki, wait a minute.
Listen, I was Miles Monroe. I can't even take that. That was Miles Monroe.
But if something drives you, even when you're not doing it, it's gone past passion.
Yes. Yes.
Because people can be passionate about a lot of things, but don't execute.
Yes. I agree with you.
So if it drives you, even when you're not doing it,
yes,
you've
and
gone
you're
past
unhappy, and there is no joy in it. See, we look at people and we're like, well, why are they so mad? Because it wasn't something that they were meant to do and purpose to do. But they did it anyway because they're used to this form and fashion, right? So that drive will you get up at night and be like, why am I thinking about this? And I'm not talking about nothing illegal, y'all. So let's don't call Bridgett back talking about Nikki told me to rob a bank because I needed that money. So let me, okay. You know you have to have a disclaimer for folks because you got some folks out here then be blaming somebody from robbing the bank. So y'all now come on now. So I just had to make that disclaimer. But when you're driven to do something, right? And you find that you are there's happiness in it, right? So I just want people to understand that. Number two, when you're talking about purpose, I left my corporate job in December of 2020. The Lord had put it in my heart many years ago to start my own business, but I kept fighting it. But I knew in my heart, even though I was serving, I was like, I can do this. And I would tell myself, I would get up and be like, child, that paycheck is good. I'm not starting nothing new. But the Lord had put it in my heart and drove me so much that I knew I had to do it. Now, the sacrifice part of it is I didn't just say I'm going to start a business and here I am, right? There were some steps and some processes you have to go through. And I'm only 9 months in, but let me tell you, I have my MBE. I'm certified with the state.
Stop. Tell people what MBE is.
I'm sorry, your minor, because I go through this minority business. Yes, your certification, your minority business certification.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to get other certifications, and I know it's going to take stair steps, but it was important for me first to say, Nikki, let me do some research before I leave my job because I already knew I was leaving. So when I leave, I already have a plan as to what I'm going to do in the beginning. Right. So I did some research about 1.5 years about what I needed to do. Who do I need to be with? I knew I was going to call the SBA, the Small Business Administration. I knew I was going to call Temple School of Business because they have workshops. I knew that I was going to register to be with the U.S. Chamber of Women's U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So I had all these things and these entities that I knew that would support me. I was going to MedWeek 4 years ago because I knew that when I became a small business owner, this would be a good place for me to go every year to get business or to at least help me out. See, we have a problem with setting up shop and we think things happen. And then the first thing we want to do is blame other cultures and other people for not having. Yes, we're Black folk and we got to work hard, right? That's fine. But at the same token, I know a lot of people of color who are working, have been working and very successful. Why? Because they made it their business. Number one, they knew they were going to sacrifice those first 5 years, right? They knew there was going to be a sacrifice. They knew that they had to get some things. They had to do some things in order to become sustainable. Sustainability is the word of the decade, right? Because we want to prepare people so that when we walk away or when we come into something, we know that things are already set up. So I already knew I needed insurance. I already knew that I needed to get with a lawyer. I already knew I needed to get a CPA way before I got into this thing. And now I'm fortunately to have a contract with the NFL Alumni Association, to be working with the United Healthcare, who hired. See, this is the thing. They saw the value in me enough that they were one of the first ones that called me and said, if you're not coming back, could you contract with us?
Somebody put that in the comment, value. Yes. They saw the value. Yes. Hey, Mary. Hey, Kira. Hey, Lizzie B. They saw the value. That's powerful. They saw the value. Wow. Yes. So, y'all, if y'all got questions from me and Nikki, please put your questions in the comments because, listen, honey, because me and Nikki will be talking the whole conversation. So, if you got questions, please put your questions in the comment section. So, Nikki, let's go with talking about, the next part that I want to cover is, I want to talk about your barber when you get all the barbers, haircuts, and yeah.
So part of what I used to, so part of what I used to do, I had a lot of partnerships through United Healthcare, and I always
partnerships are key. Partnerships are key. And here's the
part
thing.
of that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Partnerships teach you stuff, and guess what? We don't know everything.
Yes, and we don't.
So you gotta have partners. Yeah.
Network, and network, right? So it's not only partnerships, because let me tell you something, you ain't gonna get no good partnerships if you are not a good partner. Okay. So I'm gonna say it again. You're not gonna get effective partnerships that are long lasting and sustainable unless you are a good partner. That's life, relationships, business, that's all the way around. So I was able to be a good partner so that when I was in working in corporate America, I was able to formulate partnerships that transcended after I left. Right. So I can call barbers who care. And shout out to Kenny Duncan, who is a celebrity barber who started this nonprofit organization. So part of what I did with when I worked for United Healthcare was build a lot of partnerships. And part of what they still do with United Healthcare, they've been doing it for 10 years, but United is one of their partners, is they have their annual event that we just had. And what that is providing at least 600 to 700 young people with not only book bags. United Healthcare came on and we were able to get dentists to screen the children's teeth at the same token. And they were able to provide haircuts, because Kenny always said it's one thing for children to have book bags and get to school and their supplies, but he also wants their self-esteem to match all that nice stuff they got. So it was important for him to make sure that they also had haircuts. And it wasn't only young men getting their haircuts and getting nice haircuts, but there were young women that came, they got their hair trimmed. If they wanted the nice style too, he was cutting the young ladies' hair as well. So those are one of the many relationships that I've had. I've had relationships with, shout out to the Philly Women's Rally. We put on the Women's March for 4 years in a row, building that relationship. And I was asked to come on as a speaker. And coming on as a speaker, they actually asked me to join to help build out the project management and logistics, as well as I handled the PR with the team. So those type of relationships, that your legacy, like when you say Women's March, you're going to see Nikki Bagby's name. So you're building a legacy as well. And it had to do with my community, because my other side of this is as a person, I'm a community leader. It's important for me to also give back. And how I give back is those things that are societal issues that are facing. I can't just give this stuff out as I'm working and exchanging money, but a part of me also has to go look back and look around to see what some of the issues that are going on, and how can I also impact by volunteering or going a step further to helping someone else who's in the community. So I sat on a lot of boards. I've done a lot of projects. I'm having a prayer on the Parkway on October the 9th to 10th. That's October the 10th, because of all the violence. So there's a lot of things.
You tagged me in a flyer. So, and anybody that's in the Philly area, listen, in the Philly area, pray on the Parkway. Solomon just joined us. Hey, Solomon!
We love Solomon.
We love you, Solomon.
Yes.
So Solomon just asked a good question. He said, so why is it important to give back?
It is important to give back. So I will say, which a lot of people don't know, I'm recently an ordained pastor. And as a person who is a woman of faith, the greatest gift that was ever given to me was my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So if that was a gift, that has to be my model. So if I was given the greatest gift that I could give, it is my responsibility to have that same mindset to others. So it's important to give, because number one, there's always somebody less fortunate than you, and they could be at your same level and not as less fortunate, or you can be less fortunate than them, but they may need you in other ways. We assume that giving back is only people that are disenfranchised or people that is poor. No, not so. But giving back is actually caring for another individual, right? If my colleague has lost their child and I'm going to come to that person's funeral, I'm going to make sure I bring them a cake. You understand what I'm saying? Or see how I can cook. If it's a person that I've seen that is homeless, that I know that we can reach out, I'm going to be down at McPherson Park. I'm going to stop calling it Needle Park. I'm going to call it a Deliverance Park. But we're going to be down there this weekend ministering to others, making sure that they have toiletry, because it could be me, right? We're just that small of being a person that's out there on the street. We are just that amount of money away sometimes of not having. And COVID has shown us that, right? So it's important that if I'm connected as a human being, it is my responsibility to help someone else. We're in this thing together. So I believe that giving is reflective of stuff that's in my heart. the thing that I believe, but also that we have to show that we're connected in some way. It's always, because it could be me. That's all I keep thinking about. It could be me. So I want another person to treat me as if it was someone else that was going through the same thing. I could be on the street. So I would want somebody to say, here's a bag to get you some clothes. Here's some food if you're hungry. So it's important. And that way we can stay connected. That way it keeps us, humble. Right. So that's a lot of reason. And again, it was me. I struggled. And I appreciate those people that came into my life and helped me out as a young mother, and helped me out when my daughter, I remember she got to travel the world literally to 20 different 20 days to 5 different countries. And it was somebody, when I was struggling, imparted in her life and gave her something. So it's important that we give back. It's a way that we can connect as human beings.
So I wanted to add something. So, talking about your, spirituality, because everything you said, like, I can so, appreciate. Yeah. So I started this new journey for myself, and I wanted to share it with our audience tonight. And so I made one at first, but now I have a second one that I just started. And so I've made what I found it on TikTok. I've made myself it's a God jar. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, it's beautiful.
And so what I've done is that whenever I pray about something,
yes,
I write that specific thing on an index card.
Yes.
And once I write that thing on the index card, then I put it inside of the jar. Mm-hmm. Once I put the lid on the jar, that means I put it in God's hands. And I'm not going to take it back out. Once I put it in here, it's in God's hands. Yes. So that means I'm going to take it back out, and I'm not going to put my hands back on. I'm going to allow God to do the work. And so I had made one I have upstairs in my bedroom. So today I made a second one. So that's why this one is just only got like one, because I only did this one today.
Yeah.
The second one. But, putting things in God's hands. Yes. And so that's why it is so important, as a believer, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, it's not enough for you to just say that you believe. Yes. If you want to make an impact in your community, and you want to make an impact on the people that you serve, and you really want to give back, if you don't have finances to give back, you can give your time and you can give prayer.
Yes. Amen. And let me tell you something. You can take prayer to the bank.
Yes, listen.
Yeah. Amen. I just want to say to you, and I want to say this because it's good to have witnesses. I thank you. I thank you for, and I've said this to you privately, but I just want to thank you for living your best life. I thank you because your testament speaks volumes. I mean, you're a beautiful woman. And when I say beautiful, I mean inwardly and outwardly, because you always got it going on. But you have laid the foundation.
Some days I don't be looking.
Child, we don't know nothing about that. But you have laid down such a foundation that it becomes very infectious to people, and you can't help but to feel your great self. Like I said, I could not come on like this, because you know why? Because who you are has already impacted me in a way. It's not that I have to be sharp and got to spend a whole lot of money, but there is a presence that I want to make sure, because I am a reflective of my sister, right? Mm-hmm. And it's important that you understand that you are giving so many women places to feel that they are valued, that they are beautiful, that they can, women and men, that they can do anything they set their mind to it. You have laid down a foundation of integrity. You have laid down a foundation of expectation. You have laid down a foundation of impossibilities. Like, there is nothing impossible for us to do. So I want to thank you for your platform. I want you to keep on keeping on. I just see you doing so many more things. And don't ever limit yourself, because when you're gone a long time and you have gone on to be with the Lord, your legacy will still radiate generation after generation, because they're still going to be talking about you. So I just wanted to thank you. I just wanted you to know how important you are to me, and important that you are to so many people.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you, Nikki, and I love everybody that's watching. I really appreciate that. I do what I do out the same way that you have that commitment to give back to your community. I do what I do because I know what it's like to be broken.
Yes.
I know what it's like to be hurt.
Yes.
I know what it's like to have a dream or have a fire, but not sure what are my next steps.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to wake up second guessing yourself. Like, am I really good enough?
Mm-hmm.
And, I know what it's like to not have enough,
Yes.
and to have to figure out what I'm going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what it's like to really get to the point where you really, all you got to do, you have to trust God. You
Yes.
can't do anything else if you don't trust him. It's not
Yes.
about being perfect. It's about me executing my faith, because
Yes.
my faith is what's going to give me the strategy. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I want to say to everybody that's watching us, and so if y'all see me looking around, y'all, I got 4 different screens going on here. I be trying to act like I'm in a TV studio, okay?
Yes, because you
I'm
are.
just, I'm preparing for my next. I got 4 screens going on, so I'll be looking at every single screen around here.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say to people that are watching us that my show is set up not only to empower you and to educate you, but it's also to give you that nudge for you to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many times, we meet women or we meet men who have that idea,
Mm-hmm.
but because being an entrepreneur is so lonely,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they're on an island by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not making the progress that they could be making because they get stuck inside of their head.
Yes. Yep.
And so when you come here, I want you got a community of people.
Yes.
Because it's important to have a community of people. So y'all get your questions together for me and Nikki. Get your questions together.
Yes, I just want to take a minute to shout out to my family. I could never have done none of this if it wasn't for my family. My sister, she just got her dream job, girl. I say she's gonna be traveling this country. I want to say congratulations to my sister on her new job. Congratulations to my son-in-law. He got his new job today. But I wanted to thank my family, my sister Ebony, my daughter Tashana, Tierra, Tatiana, my sons Nathaniel, Nishan, and Nakai, and my husband. I want to thank my children because my children and my sister have always wrapped under me when it came to my husband too. My husband, like, y'all go ahead. But they have really been the backbone to help me to continue to move forward. It is important that you have a team of folks that, although you have the vision, they are able to roll that vision out and make sure that every part of that vision is going to come forth. So you're not an island. Now, you got some work to do, yes, but you have to have a team of folks around you who are going to believe in you, who are going to pray for you. Shout out to the my prayer team and my prayer partners. Our morning call, 7:00 in the morning. But it's important that you have a team of folks around you who believe in a vision and who believe in you. Because although it gets hard, they make it seamless and they make it easy and they motivate you to keep on going. So always remember to have mentors and to have people who are going to be in your corner to help drive the vision.
So 2 weeks ago, I think I told you I had Dr. Linda McCrae on, and she's on now. Hey, Dr. Linda.
Hey,
and we talked about, your mental health and your self-care. Yes. And she says powerful things that changed my life. So y'all get your questions ready because I'm going to go to Nikki. We're going to talk about this self-care because I want to make sure I incorporate self-care into each episode. So she talked about self-care, and you have to tie self-care to yourself.
Yes.
And so, Nikki, all the things that you do, you told us, you're a pastor, yes. You do your work in the community, yes. And you started your business.
Yes.
And, you're a mom, you're a wife.
Yes.
And you're a sister.
Yes.
Like, you out there marching on 52nd Street with the men that I've seen you.
Yes, our Black Men's March. Yes, it went around the world. We were in 20 nations.
I see you out there marching with the men for the Black Men's March, holding them up.
Yes.
So let's talk about all of those things because I want to help somebody. Let's talk about self-care and mental health. How important is that to you?
It is very important. I had to learn a lot about it as I gotten older because some people get wiser when they get older. I choose to get wiser. I've realized that part of this whole thing was being able to make sure that, number one, I was spending time with God, but number two was to make sure that I had to pull myself away. So I found myself being everywhere, doing everything. And I also found myself flat on my back one time, right? Mm-hmm. And I really had to start to ask God, God help me. He said, Nikki, you have to hear and be mindful and strategic as to what you do, because you can do a whole lot and you look around, everybody else business is flourishing, everybody else community project is getting done because you have gave so much of it, but you are exhausting yourself. So I'm at a point in my life, I always use this analogy. I'm not going back in the field and tilling anything anymore. My nails are peeled back. I have that soil is ripe and my trees are growing. Now it's my job to teach it so that they can go out there and I can sit back and help them learn and pass it on to them so that now they understand the humble beginnings, right? There has to be a time in our life that we have to step back and make sure we're looking around to make sure, am I happy? Am I content? Do I have peace? Am I taking care of myself physically, right? Because God wants you to be prosperous, but he also wants you to be in good health. Am I taking care of myself physically? Am I making sure that my mental health wellness is okay? Because people are losing their lives because of stress, right? Because they're mentally taking so much on and they haven't taken time out to see if they need to talk to, a therapist, seeing if they just need to take some time out and go on vacation. So many of us work hard and we look back and we got 100 hours because we haven't took no time off. But what we don't understand is if you drop and you are gone and you done been on with the Lord, or if you back on your back, guess what? You're literally, someone else is going to take your position. You're not replaceable, but that position will definitely be open for somebody else. And then we're sick and going through. So it's important that you take self-care. You evaluate, what have I done? Has it been too much? Have I had time to even rest? I'm a self-employed and I was telling my daughter a lot, I take naps in the daytime now. I never did that. I realized that I need to take a nap in the daytime.
Cam, I hope you're hearing this because Cam love a power nap, okay?
Listen, I'm going to take a nap and I feel good after I take a nap. So it is important for self-care. It's important that when you feel overwhelmed that you get to talk to someone, talk to a therapist. My thing is prayer, and I did go to therapy as well. But it's
listen, I'm with the prayer and the therapy. I'm with it.
It's important, y'all. It's important.
I feel like therapy is a necessity. I feel like therapy is a necessity.
Child, and sometimes sitting with my girlfriends and just sitting around is therapy for me. You understand? Because people know I will call somebody up in a minute. Boo, you live in Georgia. I'm coming down to see you for a minute because I got to get up out my house. I'm in a house full of men. They know I will fly out somewhere in a minute. My daughters is gone.
Get your questions ready for me and Nikki. And so another form of therapy or another form of really self-care, because I'm on this whole new journey that I always felt like I had to be on to the next. You complete this project, on to the next, on to the next.
Yeah.
And so I've stopped that now. I've stopped that.
You have to.
So now, listen, now I got another jar I created, okay? This jar right here is called, listen, I'm all about taking care of me now, all right?
Yes.
This jar is called Becoming Her. And this is becoming her, the woman that I am becoming, because every day I am becoming. And so I put self-dates in here, self-care stuff. Yes. And I pull something out every week. And that's something I'm doing for myself. Whether or not you go for a walk, try a new recipe, go buy me a new lipstick, take myself to dinner, whatever it is, it's something. But it's something for me to do to take care of me. Yes. And this thing has been a blessing. It has been such a blessing for my life. And I'm understanding the importance of taking a moment to actually enjoy what God has allowed me to create.
Come on.
Because for so long, I never took the time to really enjoy because I was on to the next. And so I want to say to anybody that's watching us tonight, take a moment and reflect where you are and enjoy the moment. Yes. I know we hear people say, smell the coffee and smell the roses. You got to do more than smell the coffee and smell the roses. You need to taste it, touch it, feel it, drink, whatever. But allow yourself that moment.
Yes.
So y'all get your questions ready for me and Nikki. Get your questions because Nikki done gave me some whole ideas because Nikki, I'm about to create an advisory board that I'm about to put you on, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm creating a whole advisory board because I've always wanted to do how there is a PA Governors Conference for Women.
Yes, it is.
I always wanted to do something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, hosting my own event, something like
Listen,
that.
we got some women. We got some women for you. We got some
Because there are so
powerhouses.
many women that
Yes.
have the goods. They just have not been given a platform.
Yes,
And
I agree
that's what
with
I
you.
want to do. I want to give these people like you, other people who I know out here doing this work, I want them
Mhm.
to get the big platform.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
that's one of the things I'm putting in the atmosphere. I want us
Yes,
to
I'm
create that.
grabbing it. I'm
Might take
grabbing
us
it. I'm
might
with
take us
you.
a year, 2 years, but to get it to that next level,
Yes.
get it to that place. But
Yes.
I really feel like those things are so important. See our
Yeah.
time going fast. We've been on here 50 minutes already. Okay.
Yes. Listen,
Yeah.
girl, I'll come. Listen, I'll come back. You know, I love spending time with you. You're adding value to my life because I'm sure you sharing time with me. You're adding value to my life.
I love it. Y'all, if y'all got questions for me and Nikki, please make sure that you ask us your questions in the comment section because we want to make sure that you leave with something. And also, if you have not gone to Entrepreneurs of Color magazine, I'm actually on the cover. I'm actually on the cover for the October issue, Entrepreneurs of Color magazine. So get your copy of the magazine, go online to their website.
I gotta
I
get
have it on my
myself a
page.
copy.
And I got inside spread. So I'm super hyped about that. Um, so many other great things that are coming up and I'm super happy about. Things that are happening over the next few months that I'll be sharing with all of you. And I feel so blessed that I've gotten so much amazing press. And it's been a blessing to actually have people to believe in you
Yes.
and believe in you, support you, but also help share your message. So I appreciate that so much. Appreciate you so much. So, Nikki,
Yes.
if there is one piece of advice that you will want to give to everybody that's watching us tonight, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that one scripture that I live by is so as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If
Mm-hmm.
you think that you're not going to succeed, you're not going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think that you know without a shadow of doubt that I am purposed, whatever is in my heart to do, I can get it done and put some work behind it, you're going to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
We have to realize that a lot of times when we think about all of the barriers that we face, someone said to me, it's the end of me, it's the enemy. We're our own enemy, it's the end of me, right? We have to remove all the doubt. We have to remove all the things that people have negatively said to us over our life. We have to realize that even if I've had painful moments in my life, that it was a purpose that made me the person that I am today to better myself, to strengthen someone else behind it, and to create a story of mine that I'm able to write, right? I know what was in chapter 1 and chapter 2, but by chapter 10 and 12, I already know that there is a change in trajectory. We have to get the mindset that we are the change that we want to see in others and change that we need in our lives. Nobody, I always say this to young people, especially, you have to be your greatest fan and your biggest brand. Nobody should tell your
I like
story.
that. You got to be
Yes.
your greatest fan and your
And
biggest
your
brand.
biggest, yes. So
I'm gonna use
nobody
that.
should
I'm gonna
brand.
give you credit. Now I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna give
I
you
give you
credit.
take it. Nobody should be able to sell anything. If you got a business, you are going to be able to tell your business story. Now you can get somebody to market you, but when you stand in front of somebody and you trying to give that pitch, it is your story and your passion that's got to come out of that. I don't care how introverted an introverted person is. When they believe in something, you'll be like, is they talking? They getting that message out, right? Because you have to be protective of your dream. So I just want you to believe in yourself. If you think that you're going to be successful, you're going to be successful. If you think you're not, guess what? You're not. And stop listening to people that say things over your life that is not true. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what you did or what happened. The good thing about life is God give us brand new grace and mercy every day. So if God give us brand new mercy and mercy, I ain't got time for nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
So believe in yourself, and it's in our thinking. We have to
Mm-hmm.
put the thoughts that we are successful, and then from that thought, make it an action.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And so I just want to add to what Nikki said, and that is even also with entrepreneurs, and you got to have your pitch and talk about what you do. Yes. You got to keep talking about it.
Yes.
You can't talk about it one time and stop. Yes. You have to socialize what you do beyond the people that know you. People that know you support you because they're in a relationship with you and they know you and they love you. But if you want people beyond your circle, beyond the people that know you, you got to keep with your messaging.
Yes.
You have to consistently keep your messaging going. You got to keep having conversations. You got to keep sharing your pitch. You got to keep networking. You got to get beyond the people that know you.
Yes. Yep.
And here's the other thing, and I'm probably going to make somebody mad like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you want to move from being a mom and pop shop, let me say it again. If you want to move from being a mom and pop shop, you got to do the work, create the process.
Yep.
And you got to have metrics.
Come on.
If you do not have metrics, you will not move beyond a mom and pop store, mom and pop shop. And when I say metrics, that means you got to have measurable outcomes.
Yes.
The things that you're doing, you got to be able to measure those things. You got to be able to show that the things that I'm doing are actually moving the needle. They're actually impacting the things that I've said they're going to impact. It's not about just willy-nilly doing things. If you want to move from being a mom and pop, being a mom and pop shop, you got to have metrics. And the outcomes, not only do they have to make an impact, but they have to also speak about the brand, speak about you, speak about the character. Yes. And it has to become so compelling that you get people to buy into it. So, Nikki, this is why you were able to get sponsorships because of your messaging and your marketing. You had a compelling statement.
Yes.
And then you backed it up with programs.
Yes.
Programs and impact. And that's why people keep believing in you. And so I just wanted to put that out there. You got to have measurable outcomes if you expect to move the needle.
You have to. And keep up with that data. For people who needs data, be data driven. It could be aggregated. Don't nobody got to know the name of something.
The numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie, y'all.
I had to learn that the hard way.
Numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie. You got to have numbers. I had to learn that the hard way when I first started out.
I don't care if you got a program or you got a business and you take care of one person. They ain't got to know the name of that person, but they started here. And when they left, there was some kind of needle they moved. They left out of my business and they improved on their market brand.
And while they were in my business, these are the programs they were a part of.
Come on.
And this program does this.
Come on. And keep the data, y'all. Because people want to see that you have measurable outcomes.
Yes.
Right. So I just want to thank you. I know that we're probably about to end now. Again, I can't thank you enough for all that you do. So I want to go back to something that she made me. I've just remembered what Bridgett was saying. My business, I am a consulting agency. I am a PR firm. I am a Humbled Heart Incorporated. My business is, my sister gave me my name. I love the Humbled Heart because that really is who I am. And I'm not boasting because of that. Anybody who knows me, I believe in humility. But I am a consulting firm. I also do some casting performance. I cast people I have a few clients that I love dearly. But most of all, my background and my milk of what I do, the chunk of what I do, the meat is public health care strategy. I want to make sure that disadvantaged communities are able to connect to their health systems, to manage their care, and to make sure whatever these folks are doing, they're doing it the right way, and people are being educated as they're doing it. So I just wanted to be mindful of Bridgett, because I know Bridgett gonna be like, "Girl, did you talk about your company?" I was
going to get to that next. So I was going there next. So now let me follow that. Nikki, how can the people find you?
Okay, they can find me. I am building my website, y'all. I wanted to make sure I had some good business, and I got a lot of stuff to put on there. They can find me at my name, which is Nikki at ahumbledheart.com. If you want any kind of business opportunities, or if you just want to partner, Nikki at ahumbled.com. As well as my name is on all of my I made sure I did that, all of my handles, because people can't find you because you boo-boo _ she did it. No. My name
boo-boo _ she did it.
Yeah, don't know who you are. So my handles are at Nikki J Bagby for Instagram, at Nikki _ Bagby for Twitter, and at Nikki Smith Bagby under Facebook. And the good thing is there are some Nikki Bagbys, but I am the only. That is my name. My legal name is Nikki Bagby. So you can find me. And if you can't find none of them, all you got to do is Google Nikki Bagby, and I'm going to pop up somewhere.
Nikki, it's been such a blessing having you on tonight.
No, thank you
so much. Tonight was amazing. Yes. Everybody, thank you so much for chiming in and being a part of the conversation. So many great things are happening. Nikki's going to keep us involved. Yes. And Nikki's going to keep us, up to date with what she's doing. And if you don't have your Coffee with Bridgett mug, we have a few left before we bring out the holiday mug. Get your Coffee with Bridgett mug from www.thebbexperience.com. So Nikki, thanks again for joining me. Everybody, I love you all. And I will see you back here again in 2 weeks. Have an amazing evening. All right, Nikki, hold up your cup. I'm going to let you
I'm going to get Bridget's cup next time. I'm holding it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cheers. Everybody have a good night.